Today we are discussing Saturn and the volume required to win. This is episode number 84 of Real Occult, where we apply numerology and astrology to the material world. Let's jump right into it. Saturn, if it had a slogan, its slogan would be, "There is no escaping the lessons we are meant to learn in this lifetime." I talk about it all the time. I talk about it a bunch. And so Saturn dictates, part of that no escaping the lessons is Saturn dictates how our karmic debt plays out and gets repaid, how we pay back that debt. And so within the three layers of karma, foundational layer, current layer, created layer, Saturn will determine how these things get repaid, how much interest comes along with it, all of this kind of stuff based on the continued inputs we put into the universe. Newton's third law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Our karmic debt is the input-output equation. So if baseline is 100 units of input required to create 100 units of output, and someone has tons and tons of karmic debt, maybe they have to do 500 units of input in order to receive that 100 unit output, because they're going to learn their lesson within this particular input-output equation through this experience. And so every single experience we have is a different variation of these energetic trade-offs, which is why I talk about trade-offs all the time. Are you willing to accept the consequences of this trade-off? Because both of them have positives and negatives. There are positive and negatives to every trade-off, to every decision, to every input we give the universe, and doing nothing is still an input. There's no escaping the fact that we are going to give an input. So we might as well give the input that best aligns with the output we would prefer and has the trade-offs that we would prefer. And so in the private equity world, they talk about every business has bad things to it. What type of bad stuff are you prepared to handle? Some people are very prepared to handle debt and financing problems. Other people are super equipped to handle people problems. Some people are equipped to handle marketing and market fit, that kind of problem. Some people are really equipped to handle actual product issues. And so all of these different firms, they specialize in one type of problem because they solve one thing, but every business has a thing that sucks about it, because that's part of the trade-off. And so choosing which sucky thing do you want to handle and deal with helps you eliminate a lot of bad deals and a lot of bad industries, businesses, whatever. And so the same thing applies here. If you're making a trade-off, let me see if I can think of an example without getting completely sidetracked. Do you cheat on this test or not? Trade-off of getting caught, real bad grade. Trade-off of getting a real bad grade anyways, not getting caught, having the moral integrity to know that you did your bet. All of these different things. Like, there's a bad thing that could happen to both of them. There's a positive aspect to both of them. Getting the grade that the person next to you got. But what if they sucked? And what if they're an A student, they just had a bad test? So it's like there's trade-offs to everything. Risk to everything. How much risk, what risk profile of the trade-off consequence would you prefer? So anyways, Saturn determines the volume of inputs required within these input-output equations. Now, when you're making a decision to do something, especially if you're in one of these turning point moments, you're going through a real intense life change, you're going through a deep, personal, transformative experience, whatever it is, when you're put in it, going through experiencing these pivotal turning point moments, understanding how much volume is going to be required in both of your decisions. And so for myself, growing up, born and raised in Las Vegas, and then I went to college outside the state and then came back. Growing up, I never gambled. I wasn't about it. My mom occasionally would have like these work things where they'd bring home a slate of like Sunday night or Sunday football games, and you do every game and select which team you thought was going to win, just straight up which team you thought was going to win. And so occasionally when, if there was something big going on, my mom would bring one of those home. Me and my brother would do one. Actually won a couple of those, and that was always super cool. But wasn't really interested in doing anything. My grandfather, this guy, he loved to gamble. Was really, really good at poker. Only played online fake money. Really good. Do these all-day tournaments and win these freaking it was insane. Really, really good. Only played for fake money. Really, really bad at slots. Only used real money. This dude loved to use real money on slots. Would never do online slots. Always physical slot machine here in Vegas. And would go lose tons of money. Would win occasionally, but would just love to dump and lose tons of money. And so when my grandfather passed away, when he passed in December of whatever year it was, that February for the Super Bowl, my family was having a massive get together. Everyone was coming together. We're doing a little party, right? And my mom, because homie loved to gamble, was like, okay, we're going to put in some parlays. We're going to do all these player props. I was like, nah. I don't like to gamble. I'm not into any of that. I don't like it. I'm not interested. Time goes on. It's like the weekend before. If you don't do some, we're going to do some for you and just throw some in there for you. So I'm already into the numerology and astrology. I'm giving readings to people at this point already. And because I've been into this stuff since I was in middle school, high school. I've been doing readings for friends and family and stuff. And so I was already doing this technically professional, because you get paid to do it. And say, okay, I'm going to use this numerology and astrology, and I'm gonna pick some of these props. Boy, if I don't go 2 for 3 on some mega ones and crush it and have the talk of the party be how I sniped out these things with numerology and astrology. And so I decide a little bit after that, I'm going to put some throughout the NHL season, NHL playoffs, April, May. Boy, if I don't snipe a $120, $1 or $2 goal proposition, I'm like, dang, this is crazy. $3 down for 120 back off a couple goals. This is something crazy. And so, bam, here we are, thousands of propositions later. I've learned so much, and that's the thing, is it's not just about picking winners. Boy, can I pick winners all day long. There's all of this other stuff that goes into actually spending money on propositions professionally, gambling professionally, I guess you would say. And so I'm sitting here looking at, I've won hundreds of props. I've done thousands of these things. I've won hundreds of them. I've won and transacted hundreds and hundreds of dollars. For me to win enough money doing this. We're tying it all back together, and then I'm going to get out of here. This thing's 10 minutes now. For me to win enough money doing this that it would impact the brand, and that validation proof of, hey, the numerology and astrology is real. Here's how I can prove it's real in a tangible way, instead of just being able to deliver this one-on-one experience where I can randomly pick out a month within a year and say, wow, something major transitional happened in this time period in the beginning of this month. And then the person respond with, wow, that's actually when I checked myself into rehab. And it's like, well, yeah, that makes sense, because something massive and pivotal was going to happen in one direction or the other. Because that's one of these pivotal turning point moments, these intense turning point style moments. And the numerology and astrology breakdowns can give you deep dive analysis, depth, insight into what those things mean for that multi-life journey and all this stuff with these layers of karma. But from a consumer level, from a very retail, high-level aspect, yeah, I've won millions of dollars using numerology and astrology. That's a real good proof anchor for people who are super skeptical about it. And I'm sitting here thinking, looking at my chart, knowing how my energy's laying out and playing out, having a season of experience now going through these different sports with all this different stuff, knowing I've already won hundreds of these things, transacted hundreds of dollars with these things, done thousands of these overall, won hundreds, lost hundreds. In both aspects, have won hundreds of these things, have lost hundreds of these things, have won hundreds of dollars, have lost hundreds of dollars. In order for me to get those numbers up into the millions, to make it so that the average person cares about it at all, I have to stack 3 zeros, 3 rungs of energy. And this is where the volume comes in. Now we're tying it back together. After another 3 minutes of setup, wrapping this thing up, I have to decide if it is worth doing that volume, knowing how much volume is required, that it's not just thousands of these things, it's going to be tens of thousands. I'm going to have to place tens of thousands of these things. I'm going to have to win and lose tens of thousands of these things, not just the thousands that I already have. It's going to be tens of thousands. The sheer amount of volume required to have the experience I want through this vehicle. And do I want to learn the lessons that the universe is going to teach me through this vehicle? Or, because here's the other option for myself personally within this decision and choice, is doing tens of thousands through employees, hundreds of thousands of individualized readings for people. I enjoy doing hundreds of readings, and over the years we'll get up into the thousands and tens of thousands of readings. But I very much enjoy the casual aspect of, I don't do this as my main source of income, the numerology and astrology stuff. I do it because I genuinely enjoy it. It genuinely impacts other people in a positive way. So there's no pressure for me to give the person information that makes them feel a certain way, because for me it doesn't matter if they like it, if they don't like it. I'm just able to give a factual, accurate, precise interpretation of the energies at play. And so the decision is, well, do I want to do that through just these raw data numbers and these algorithms and do all this math with these propositions? Or do I want to do that through a bunch of employees and a bunch of team with these individualized readings, and now I'm doing readings professionally, which I don't necessarily want to do. Which I kind of made the decision I don't necessarily want to do after I was, because I just, last podcast episode was about the multi-call reading system, why I do multi-call readings. Because when I first started doing readings for other people, I was doing everything in single calls, and I really didn't like it and kind of made the decision there. I don't want to be given readings professionally and be on like a treadmill reading system where I'm just pumping readings out for people. That's not how I like to do it. I like to do deep dives, multi-layered, multi-calls, really get in deep, really get some granular insight and some tactical applicable changes. But which version of volume would I prefer is the question. And so when you yourself come into these turning point experiences, or you have these decisions to make, or you're looking at the volume and you're looking at, do you want to sign up for this thing? You can ask yourself realistically, do I want to do that volume of work to get that outcome that I want? And so for me, I've already done hundreds. Do I really want to do 100 times more than this? Like legitimately 100 to 1,000 times. I've already done this. Do I want to do what I've just done 1,000 more times? Yes or no? And that is the question. But either way, for myself, there is no escaping the lesson you're meant to learn in this lifetime. So no matter which vehicle I choose, it will be thousands, tens of thousands of repetitions. Because that's the energetic setup I've got. And so the quicker you lean into it, the quicker you start to move forward and learn into these lessons. I learned that lesson when I was in elementary school and refused to believe that I was colorblind. That's a different story for a different day. Refused to accept it for years and years and years and years. Until one day you just, all right, cool, I don't see that color. And then you just move on. And then life gets pretty good. All right, I'm wrapping this thing up. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, and you'd like personalized assistance, you want me to help you break down your energies, you're going through a transition, you want me to help give you energetic insight into a decision you have to make, check out our free community, skool.com/real occult. Hope you got something out of this, and I will talk to you again soon.